What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, man. I'm going to make it a video about Abner Mars having come out and say that he suffered a detached retina, and that was the reason for him pulling out of the fight with Gervonta Davis. Now, before I do that, though, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified when we release more videos. Hey man, it is really, really unfortunate, and I doubt very much that Abner Mares listens to my video, but let me extend an apology to Abner Mares. I said in a video when I heard about his retina being detached that man, he's gonna have to show a doctor's note for me to believe that, because I thought, hey man, this dude just Robert Garcia talked about pulling out of the fight if Gervonta Davis was overweight. And then later on, a couple weeks before the fight, he pulls out of the fight. But knowing that this is a detached retina, man, that's nothing to play with at all. And hey, man, my thoughts and prayers go out to Abner Mares. Hey, man, and I apologize for having, doubted whether or not he was being real and pulling out of this fight. That is something that you never want to see happen to a boxer. And, I would not have wished. I honestly, man, for him, man, I would have rather had him pull out for no good reason than have to suffer a detached retina. My understanding that this is his second detached retina that he's had. So, you never want to be in a situation or have a fighter be in a situation where he could have a career threatening injury. But just to go through what he said about it himself, let me do that. He said it happened in the sparring session on Wednesday. That was January 23rd. Mares told Fox's Kate Abdo during the exclusive interview, "I got hit in the eye. I felt the pain, but I went through it. I still sparred. I came back on Friday for another session, got hit again. It's a contact sport, and my eye got super red. It was then it was that Friday or Saturday, that's when I started seeing clouds and just blurry vision. And I told my wife, and my wife was like, 'You got to get it checked.' I said, 'No, I'm good.' So Monday came and I was going to go to the gym. I had another sparring session ready for Monday. I usually spar Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but my wife insisted you should go to the doctor. So she won. I went to the doctor. I seen my eye doctor, the specialist, and he said, 'Abner, you have a detached retina. You're not going to be able to fight.' And that was pretty much it. It was really hard for me to hear those words once again. It was devastating, and more devastating knowing that when I canceled the fight, when the fight was announced, canceled, the messages I was receiving from people saying that I was a fake, that I was faking injury, that it was a way to pull out of the fight. But in reality, people didn't know what I was going through. People didn't know the pain I was going through, and I'm not that type of person. I'm not that type of fighter. I always fight. I called out Davis. I wanted him. He direct messaged me saying the same thing. "Why would you fake an injury?" And that really boiled me up. I responded back, and it's been a tough week. That's one of the reasons I'm here, that I'm letting people know what's going on, what's happening. Yes, I do have a detached retina, but let me remind you people, and a lot of people know, in 2008, I suffered a detached retina in my left eye. 11 years later, I've been a four-time world champion. I became a four-time world champion with a detached retina. Unfortunately, I've suffered another one in my right eye, and it doesn't mean a ending career for me. I feel strong. I know that I'm going to make it back after this. It's just a matter of healing, resting, and doing what the doctors say. My doctor, he's one of the best. And if he says, "Abner, you're good to go," I'm going to go up there and continue to become a world champ once again. And if he says, "No, I'm ready for retirement," but I honestly feel like I'm going to be back and I'm going to conquer that and become world champion again. This is this particular transcript for it is in Boxing Scene, is with Keith Idec. So, man, that's very, very, very unfortunate, man. And it's a lesson for me, man. I jumped the gun on Abner Mares on this because, man, I didn't understand why he took that fight with Gervonta Davis regardless. I didn't think he had a snowball's chance of hell of winning that fight. So, when it was originally reported, though, to defend myself slightly, but at the same time give the apology, because I think it's important, man. When you get out there and you say something and you catch an attitude with somebody and you find out that it's not what you think, I think it's important that you be a man and acknowledge it. Defend myself slightly though. When they said it was an injury where he thought he was going to be out 2 weeks and then he would be back, that it was some type of arm injury, that didn't sound serious enough to pull out of a fight. It sounded like something, if he really wanted to bear down, he could have made it through the fight, or at least started the fight, taking the fight. But this is not the case. I'm definitely not going to, I saw the video for it, and where he had the patch over his eye, he's at the doctor's arc, all that film type of all the stuff that's filmed. I'll take him at it. What can you say, man? I just hope that the cat gets better. I was not a big Abner Mares fan or Leo Santa Cruz. I've said this before. Was not a big fan of Abner Mares, not a big fan of Leo Santa Cruz or any of those guys really at 120, who are at 122, 126 pounds that wouldn't fight Guillermo Rigondeaux. But you never want to have somebody have a career, ending injury, or one that's potentially career ending. I know he's saying that he doesn't believe that it's going to be a career ending injury, and playing around with your eyes, man, I think it's more important that you be able to see it when you get, after you retire, than it is for, you to win another world title or put a couple extra dollars in your pocket. That's just you just don't want to do that, man. I feel the same way. Like, I still feel the same way about that with Kell Brook, where Kell Brook had, fractured orbital bones, right? And that's the bone around the eye. That's not even in that, that's not the actual eye itself. And Kell Brook, to me, to this day, man, I still believe, like, look, Kell Brook probably need to wrap that up before that thing happens again, right? And Kell Brook had it once in his, I think it was first on his right eye against Gennady Golovkin, and the second time it was on his left eye against Gennady Golovkin. And he's another punch from it happening again, and that stuff is too close to your brain to be playing with. Abner Mares, two detached retinas, it really, really, really might be time for him to call it a day. And he's 33 years old. So at 33 years old, when by the time he fights again, I would suspect it would be a year. I would hope that it would be at least a year. Now you're talking about a little guy who's at 100, was he at 126, 130 pounds, fighting at, 34 years old after already having, two detached retinas. I don't know if that's worth it, but definitely him fighting Gervonta Davis with a detached retina, that was, that's not happening, man. That's not happening. So again, my apologies to him. We do get to see Gervonta Davis in here. I think his name is, the guy that Gervonta Davis is going to be fighting is Hugo Ruiz. I'm looking forward to that fight. I think it might actually be a better fight than Ruiz. I really didn't think that a better fight than the Abner Mares fight was going to be. I really didn't think that the Abner Mares fight was going to be very competitive with Gervonta Davis. I just thought Gervonta Davis he's too fast. He's too fast, too big, hits too hard, is not easy to hit, and has and he's got like one punch knockout power at that weight class, where he can really hurt you with two shots, but definitely can stopping cats with body shots. So that wasn't going to be a good match for Abner Mares. And so it is what it is, man. So we'll see what happens with Abner Mares. Again, I want to, express to the extent that Abner Mares will listen to this video, or just people that know that I was clowning on Abner Mares for what happened, for him pulling out of the fight. I'm expressing my apologies for that. If I had any inkling that it had something to do with an eye injury, I wouldn't have said that at all. If you overcoming a cold or you got a sprained wrist or something like that, or a bruise on your elbow, because that's what the report that I had heard, that it was something related to a bruised elbow, or it was a bruise on his arm, and there was something that he was going to be back from in a couple weeks. If I would have known it was a torn retina, detached retina, I never would have said it. And so anyway, again, man, my best wishes to Abner Mars, his family, his career, and we're on to the next one. Peace.